Friends in Christ, Pastor Brian here. Community. I received word this past week from a friend from the Lutheran School of Theology at Chicago that her husband had died. Now, I, along with many others, had been following on Facebook as he had gone into the hospital for an infection that proceeded to overtake his body. And as I sat back to pray, I thought of that one word: community. It came to mind because here was someone from 25 years ago in my life that I hadn't seen in person very much since, but whose husband dying touched me so deeply, drove me to prayer for him, for her, their family, all those who surrounded and cared for her. This was community. The community that God and Jesus Christ opens our eyes to. Community is understanding that me, my life, my actions do affect everyone around me. That the manner of my living and my dying has lasting effect on people, even hundreds, thousands of miles away, in a scope that is wider than I can imagine. Community is why, when I was an adjunct instructor at Kirkwood Community College, I told my students, look, all you need to do to pass this class is get good grades on the metrics, right? Tests, papers. But you will learn more. We'll all learn more if you are here with us, if you are present with us, so we can hear your thoughts and ideas. Community is what a wedding is about, certainly in the church. If you get to the point of a wedding ceremony, you've already made promises to one another. Making those promises in front of a community of faith is an acknowledgement that your relationship and the children that come from it will affect so many people beyond just the two of you and your family. That it affects our entire community. That your togetherness is not just yours, but something that does belong to and affect others. Community is the recognition that I need something beyond just this relationship with you. And community is what God and Jesus calls us to. The human community that recognizes the image of God that resides in all other human beings and the necessity of attending to that. The community of our nations, our state, our city. A recognition of our interdependence and interconnection even when we don't think it is there. Now, I say this as an introvert, someone who gets recharged by being alone or in a small group of loved ones. As the church, we need one another. We need that community to be fully who we are. We need you. We've been apart for much of these last 3 years for many good reasons. But now that it is safer for us to be physically together, I'd invite us to get to know one another again. To begin to knit ourselves into a wider community with recognition of the strong ties that exist between us. I would invite us to open our eyes to the joys as well as the necessity of this kind of community. Now, it's going to require some practice. It will require grace and forgiveness. It will require patience and effort. And that's at least part of what our worship is about. Practicing being a better community. Practicing confessing where we have done wrong. Practicing giving and receiving forgiveness. Practicing listening to one another. Seeking to understand. Practicing loving one another. We are in relationship with every other human being on this planet because each bears the image of God. And so I invite you in this new year to lean into that reality and get to know your community better so that we might taste the life fuller and more abundant that Jesus Christ came to bring. God's blessings.